Good morning, students. I want to go over with you how to write this research paper that you are working on. Remember, this is an APA format rather than the MLA. American Psychological Association is the name of this paper. We just call it APA for short. Okay, at the top of the page, you will notice you're going to use the words running head for a title page. The title page is sometimes in APA format referred to as the running head page, but it is the title page, and it does include the words running head on the title page only. And then you will have your short title all in capital letters, so please notice that. And you will have a page number. You do not put your last name on the page number section. You only will have the title of the paper. Scroll down to about midway, halfway down the page, and that's where you will begin putting your title. Please make sure that your entire paper is 12 font Times New Roman and double spaced. The entire paper is in those three forms: Times New Roman, 12 font, double spaced. Okay, your title under the running ahead section is in all capital letters. But then when you go down here to put your full title, remember this is your short version. When you put your full version of the title, you do not put every single letter in capital letters. You only put the main words beginning with a capital letter. It is permissible to have a title with a colon and a subtitle following it. If you do that, you do not want your title to go completely across the page. You would want to stack it. Keep in mind also not to have a title that is longer than 12 words. After your title, then you will put your first name, your middle initial with a period, and your last name. And then you will put the name of the college. This is Ozarka College. Scrolling to the second page of your paper, which also is not considered part of your content pages, the second page of your paper begins with the word abstract, and your abstract, if you will notice, you still have the title and you have your page number, but your abstract is between 150 to 250 words, no less, no more. Do not add or comment on the body of your paper. Do not analyze, do not describe or discuss. This is the part of the paper in which you provide a comprehensive summary review of what is contained within the paper. Type the abstract in block format. Notice there are no indentions. You do not tab over at the beginning of this paragraph. Everything is totally lined up block. Of course, double space. Yes, you will include the key words that your paper contains. This may be the Roman numeral points that you used on your outline. Keywords is in italics with a colon, and then you list the keywords. And again, take those keywords from your outline. Now we go to the body of the paper. This is where your paper begins. It begins with the introduction on page 3. This is the page number that your content pages will begin, page 3. You still have your running head title on every single page and your page number. You will place the title of your paper at the top of this page. Do not label this introduction. Never, ever do that. Begin with the introduction. Begin with an attention grabber that is very appealing to your audience. Include your thesis as the next to the last sentence, and I want you to include the last sentence in your introduction. I want it to be a rhetorical question that your paper is going to discuss, explain, and unfold. The next part of your paper, this begins the body. If you look at Roman numeral 1, your key point should be the subheading bolded above the first paragraph. Every time you move to the next Roman numeral, you will put a subheading. Now, you may have 2 paragraphs, as this paper did. You may have 2, or this one actually had 3 paragraphs. One paragraph is really short, but you may have 2 or 3 paragraphs under Roman numeral 1. That is normal. That is typical. You do not put
It's 9 o'clock.
a new subheading. You do not put a new subheading. Sorry about that. You do not put a new subheading for every single paragraph. It is for every single Roman numeral key point that your paper is discussing. Okay, we'll scroll on and notice that as you move into your pages, you still have your running head title and you have your page number. Now, when you get to the final paragraph, which is your conclusion, you may label it summary and concluding discussion. That is perfectly fine. That will be your concluding paragraph. Okay. I want you to restate your thesis statement in the very first sentence. I want you to sum up your key points that you discussed from your Roman numeral outline in the body paragraphs. Just wrap up those key points and then close out with a closing metaphor. Now, let's go back very quickly. In the introduction section of your paper, that is not labeled introduction, I want you to begin your paper with that attention grabber. I want you to also include a metaphor that will sound appealing and interesting and draw your reader into your paper. I want you to include an extended metaphor. Take that same metaphor and extend it in an expanded format throughout the body of your paper. The last thing I want you to focus on is closing out that metaphor. Wrap up that metaphor and close it in the conclusion of your paper. Now I want to talk about something else. If you will notice, this paper is the APA format. You will put the author's last name in parentheses, a comma, and then you will put the year that paper was published. You may also put the page number if you have a lengthy document or you used a book source. If not, you will just merely put, and let me find one, you will just merely put the author's last name and the date. And yes, here's one. Sometimes it is permissible to use the author's name as part of the sentence in place of the parentheses. For example, this sentence says Newton, who was the author of the source, and in parentheses you put the year that piece was published. Newton found that penalty for plagiarism is usually determined, I think that should say Newton found that the penalty, there's an error in this person's paper. Okay, the main point here is you can use the author's source and cite it as though it is part of the sentence, or you can do it as it is done here and place it in parentheses with the year. Remember that the period goes at the end of the parentheses, not before, because the citation is the end of the sentence, whether it is in parentheses or it is starting the first part of the sentence. The in-text citation is considered part of the sentence, regardless. Okay, let's go to the last section. I want to talk to you about the references. The sources on an APA paper are labeled references. You're going to have your page number with your writing, with your running head title, all in caps, just like it's been on every other page. This is not part of your content, and if you'll notice, this paper is shorter than the one you have to do. Your content ends with your conclusion, okay? So it begins with the introduction, ends with the conclusion. The reference page lists the sources. Make sure that every time you continue a source piece, you indent if you have to go to the second or even the second and third line. So if your source information continues down, make sure you indent the second and third lines. Remember, your sources are completely double spaced. Everything is 12 font, Times New Roman, double spaced. Totally everything. Please look at your writer's reference and how to set up your references correctly according to APA format. It is different from MLA. If you have any questions, please call my office, 870-368-2037. If I don't answer, please leave a message and I will call you back. I have lots of conferences scheduled this week, so leave a message if I don't answer. You can also send me an email through the course mail, and I will get back to you as soon as I have a free moment. I hope this helps you as you write your paper. I look forward to reading your papers. And remember, the first paper is just your rough draft, so as long as you do all of the parts, you will get full credit. However, if you do not make corrections by the time you do your second paper, your final draft, I will deduct major points. Follow your rubric to see how you will be scored. This entire paper package is worth 450 points of your semester grade. That is a huge chunk, so please pay attention to what you're doing.